Next up, we have Susan Butler, speaker number 3. Susan considers herself very lucky to have spent the last 10 years working on big, complex projects, like prototyping new ideas for the city with Designing Dublin, or researching new services for older people. She recently joined the City Innovation Lab, where she continues to work on service design and design thinking projects. So welcome, Susan.
I'm so annoyed that neither of you had notes, and I have the biggest bloody notes you can possibly have. Go for it, John. Can I have a quick show of hands? Who in the audience is married? Okay, I'm going with about a third. And as everyone who's planned a wedding knows, it's not just about creating, an app or a table plan or something digital that will help you to plan the wedding. This was genuinely me about a year and a half ago, seeing if Siri could help out a little bit. She really can't. It's a problem. But here's where this gets really serious. And I'm going to take us down a little notch, I'm sorry, but about a third of you who are married, 1 in 3 is the same number of children who are reported to Child Protective Services before they turn 18 in South Australia. So I was based over in Adelaide working on this project. And obviously that's a huge problem. But just like with a wedding app, having a digital plan for your table plan doesn't actually solve the root cause of needing to plan a wedding. And fundamentally, the job that we had to do, and I'm quoting the wonderful Bruno Mag here, is that we have an actual job to do. And our job to do there was not to just help make processing those referrals easier, but to actually design a new service that would stop children needing to be taken into child protection in the first place. So I worked on this service, family by family, and I guess the crux of my talk is to say that as a service designer, people keep saying, oh, you just do journey maps and that, but what do you really design as a service designer? And you design a whole service. So family by family, linked up families who'd been through tough times and come out the other side, with families who had really wanted to learn something and wanted to get better at doing family life and wanted to develop those skills. So by spending a lot of time with families, we discovered the strengths that these amazing sharing families had who had something to share with others. And we designed a way to find them. So this is finding those families and going out to parks, going to the places where families were and finding them, and then recruiting them to act as mentors for other families. And I think what I really want to talk about is the intentionality of designing every single part of that service. So this was designing out, we discovered if you want to kind of interview families for a mentor role, you need to go to families at the time when they're getting together, which is dinner time. So we brought dinner over to families' houses, and I ate an awful lot of McDonald's for a few months as we designed this out. So we designed out the game that we used. Instead of interviewing a family, we said, let's play a game and ask some fun questions along the way. We designed out what those questions were for the grown-ups, for the kind of, kids who could kind of talk, and for the littlies of, can you sing us a song or some kind of challenge, just so that it was a full family interaction. I think it was really about the intentionality of all those little things that we designed out. And once we found those families and we brought them into this program, this is the kind of, documenting what that actual interaction was. And it wasn't just about this interaction, it was every single nuance. So if you had to roll this out again in a new site, what was the script? What were the things that they had to talk about when they went out to meet these families? And once you have them, it's bringing through all of this thinking that you've done from that empathy phase of knowing family life into training the families to tell their story and to use those strengths to support other families. It's about taking the expertise you can get, so from behaviour change theory, and bringing that into how you train families to, create these link-ups and create these really good kind of periods of change. So it was the theory that went behind it. It was the power control for these seeking families who are so often told by social services, you have to do this tomorrow or we're taking your kids away from you. And that puts them in a really bad power position. But we gave them back control and said, you know what, you choose if you want to be part of this. You choose the sharing family who's going to mentor you. We built in things like measures for the families themselves to know if they're achieving their goals, but also to help us to know if the program we're running was actually working. And what we, really found is that it was the ongoing interactions of every single moment of the ongoing, how do you help families who are mentors to continue to build their strengths to do even better? And it was designing the coaching model, the roles of the coach, the roles of everything. And it was every single part of that service and how it needed to run. we designed in how do we reward the kids, because it was kind of weird for them to be part of it. So we gave them options of, do you want rewards like presents or, trips out with your family? And those kids, they're so lovely. They said, what we actually want is praise from our parents. So there's some nice bits. I guess by the end of it all, what we managed to do was create something where we could prove the families were achieving 90% of their goals. And the average for something like this was more like 15-20%. And that we could prove we were saving $9 for every dollar that was invested in the program, and fundamentally, families were keeping their kids with them. So I think, I'm running out of time. As designers, I think we've got a role that, we can't say that's not my job. If you're designing a service, you design the whole service.